We are loaded, so prepare to watch and listen fast as Thunder in the Pennsylvania Mountains 2003 is rolling on your TV. November 30th, Wall Stadium, New Jersey. The three-quarter midgets are making somewhat of a comeback. 28 are on hand as part of the 29th Turkey Derby on the High Bank paved third mile. Wall Point champ Mike Titeback hits the wall, starting a pileup which leaves Frank Palamita and Andy Storero on their sides during a heat race. The feature starts with style as well. Problems in turn 3, and Bruno Lombruno turns it over. Joey Payne in the white 91, after taking the lead on the second lap, holds off the red 51 of Russ Bailey as the pair hit lap traffic. Bailey gets caught pushing a lapped car sideways. Don Adams takes advantage of the temporary T-bone, zipping into second. Bailey recovers nicely, holding on to third. The three leaders are back under a blanket as the 0-2 of Adams works the low side to take first away from Payne late in the 25-lapper. More TQ flop over itis. George Chevalier heads for the infield after contact with Mel Rabb. Adams continues to hold off Jersey Joe and Bailey the rest of the way. Don's win gets our full approval. The Robbinsville, New Jerseyite came from 10th place starting spot in the points handicap competition. There you are, Don. Our regards. Well, 60 cents will buy you a hot cup of coffee. January 18th, racing returns to the Atlantic City Convention Hall for the first time in over 20 years. Area Auto Racing News owner Lenny Salmons may be the most powerful man in Eastern motorsports. Who else could draw an outlaw-sized crowd to a mini car race and not spend a dime in advertising?
We anticipate a start. The green flag is out and we're racing in Atlantic City. In trouble right at the start.
The scaled-down stock cars known as Legends quickly warm up the crowd. The marquee event pitted the three-quarter midgets against the 600cc micros to assure a full field of nearly 100. Jack Spence is spectacular all weekend. J.R. Culler also returned to action in minutes after shaking off the event's hardest hit. The colorful little racers are wing-free, but the track's tight confines make passing difficult. Nathan Houck climbs over Lou Ciccone and twirls the Apple Micro Sprint. Chuck Sherby tries out the hockey rink. Doug Labonte gets into Brett Shonley before dumping in turn 3. Jeremy Lynch kept the crowd on edge before suffering a minor back injury in this hard landing. The feature is 40 laps. Double file restarts help produce more side-by-side racing. This one on lap 2 puts Andy McArith in front as his fellow Canadian and pole sitter Adam Walsh hits the wall.
Once more, they come to the green. And trouble for your leader on the start, and out to the wall he goes.
As the number 40 of 42-year-old McArith leads, Lou Ciccone is putting on the show after restarting on the rear. But on lap 25, Liquid Lou caught an inside tire barrier, starting this crash, which leaves Jack Spence upside down again. Fellow Canadian Stuart Friesen puts race-ending pressure on leader McEnrith.
It's winding down. 2 laps to go. The leader's in traffic. Friesen to the outside with 1 lap to go. Stuart Friesen making a last-ditch challenge in traffic for the victory. Down into turn 3 they go. Coming in for the checkered flag, it will be Andy McArith taking the win.
Modified star Tim McCready finished third in his micro sprint. Andy gets a kiss from Miss Motorsports and $2,000 from promoter Lenny Salmons. Indoor racing helps fans get through the winter across the country. We offer a new segment this year thanks to our Midwest representatives featuring indoor thrills and spills. The mini sprints tango at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Larry Goss presents the classic layover. Much ado down the straight before Jason Hyde climaxes the drama with a slow roll. Full midgets. Michael Miller does not quite clear a spin. Send a bill to Lenny Salmons for advertising his paper. Sprints make a rare indoor appearance here in the Dome. Danny Williams rolls harmlessly after catching a tire. Dennis Veach rolls 3 times after launching off the inside Jersey barriers. We travel to Oklahoma and the Tulsa Expo Center. The micro sprints compete in the shootout. Robert Richardson finds himself on the outside of 3 wide racing. Several cars get together, launching Neil Carpenter into the wall. Dave Rank does an endo on the berm before getting right back into the race. Mark Hodges over the berm, doing a complete in the infield. Travis Jenkins gets right rear over left front. A spin entering turn 3 sends 2 cars into the wall. Brian Beanman spills the beans. Chris Gurney in white and Joey Boyd lock wheels. Number 35, Tyler Robbins, gets airborne in this shunt, which also flips racerette Audra Cicelli. Chris Andrews makes contact before turning over. Andy Evans hangs it on the wall. Bryce Kramer also has wall problems. Donnie Brackett already has front end damage before rear-ending another car and then getting hit from behind. Scott Halfman takes a hard one after bumping wheels. Kevin Baer gets too much bite before presenting best of show. The most prized ticket and press credential in dirt track racing. It's the Chili Bowl. A triple-digit count of midgets produce a whole season's worth of thrills in 4 nights on the quarter-mile heavy surface here in the Tulsa Expo. That was Toby Brown, and now A.J. Fike suffers what in this league is considered a minor setback. One event sponsor is unhappy with Tony Everhart. A bump in the cage, but Scooter Ellis is okay. More rubber-to-rubber action propels Tom Hessert. Johnny Rodriguez after a tire blowout. ARDC regular Chris Mowry is the one upside down here. More It's the Wall Stupid quality time. It's Billy Weiss. John Wolf can't quite save it. Dallin McKenney in his first of 2 appearances in this year's Chili Bowl segment. Randy Cuck will have to restart on the rear. Randy Nigg hits the wall in hot laps. Darren Hagen drives over another car and flips. Wayne Chin rides over Ron Kuhn. Mark Lightfoot jumps the cushion while running last in his heat race. Jim McVeigh gets over a wheel at the end of the backstretch. Paul Perkins gets over Dick Kaiser. Wally McDuffie drives over Randy Nigg in the H-main. Dallin McKenney is back, bouncing off another car before Don Dowd drives under him. Jerry Coons drives over Chad DeSell. Ron Gregory spins into the berm and does a complete. 3-time top fuel drag racing champ Gary Scelzi tries his hand at a real race car, flipping in turn 1 on the first lap of his heat before getting back into the race, then flipping across the finish line on the last lap of the same heat. He's going to be a good one. The beer vendor is enjoying his profits and agrees that the best of show goes to Indy veteran Tice Carlson, who clipped the berm before rolling the length of the backstretch. The only damage, a bent radius rod. We wind up our indoor autorobics with a shootout leftover. Tyler Robbins and Jimmy Bridgman flip their micro sprints. The outdoor season begins in February near Tampa, Florida at the East Bay Raceway, where the Winter Nationals are on tap. This fast 3/8 mile is located between a junkyard and a sludge mine, but nonetheless has its own charm. Built in 1976, East Bay was the brainchild of Jimmy Mingo. Jimmy and his lovely wife Sylvia were special guests of honor during this winter's events. The old Super 8 movies offer us a peek at what East Bay looked like during its infancy. This was the 1978 Winter Nationals, won by Doug Wolfgang. The pits were in the infield, and the Sludge Mountain was still a hole. Look at the crowd. The sprints were wingless, and more than 100 of them competed in the afternoon event. Looking close, we can find PA standouts Steve Smith and Dub May among the entrants. Today, the Winter Nationals run for nearly a month. Along with the 360 and All-Star Sprinters, they also feature the IMCA-style open-wheel modifieds. Also the late models, and they really pack this place. January 29th, 48 360 sprint cars open their 4-night series. Lance DeWeese, 77, won from 20th a year ago, but the lobbying of top drivers has brought time trials back to the series. The PA Posse superstar leads from the front row. But watch the maroon-colored 24 of Iowa's Terry McCarl, who started in the third row after the draw offered a 6-car inversion. Running his own racer, Terry has second by the second lap. And the lead on lap 3. DeWeese finished second with Gary Wright third. Interesting numbers as fans paid $30 for a show featuring $1,500 to win. Here's a fast-talking winner.
They just had the car right. To be totally honest with you, I didn't change tires all night long. We just kind of moved the right rear end a little bit, and that was about it. We didn't touch the car. It was working so good, and, you know, we were a little tight in the heat race, actually, so I thought slick track might help us out and might come to us. But I can move around higher or low. I got to thank Eagle Chassis, Westmar Engines, and, of course, Hoosier Tires, all of our sponsors, Sander Engineering, Country Builders Construction out of California. Like I said, without all the sponsors on these cars, it wouldn't be possible.
Thursday night heat racing left Alan Gilbertson with nowhere to go. Fast Freddie Raymer, 88, leads from the front row into lap traffic over the 4 of Shane Stewart and the 77 of Lance DeWeese. Trouble as one of the lap cars spins in turn 1, trapping Stewart as Raymer and DeWeese slip past. Mike Lutz from Mercer, Pennsylvania gets the worst of the deal. We have a close-up of Mike's hard spill. Mike nurses a broken fingernail and will be back tomorrow. The PA Posse continues to get beat at their own game. Normally handicapped by points, our heroes are among the best passers in the country. But the white 88 of Sport Allen, an East Bay regular known as Superman, shows Raymer the fast way around the unique surfaced oval. The winning pass occurs on lap 15. Raymer and DeWeese followed the St. Petersburger across the finish.
Oh, this track is awesome. It's in such good shape right now. The thing is, it's so fast, it's almost hard to pass, especially with lap cars. Coming up when it's too wide, there's really no extra lane to go. So when it's fast like this, it's tough to pass. But I'm glad we did it, Bill.
Welcome to East Bay Raceway for the third night of the Winter Nationals.
Texan Gary Wright leads every lap. Darren Stewart second, Jason Sides third.
You got to start on the pole, made it look somewhat easy, but I know it's been a tough weekend so far.
Well, you know, we wasn't too bad the first night. Last night, all we did was, you know, knock the tire off the wheel, but you can't put air in it, so we were out of that. Tonight, the beat, one car, we went out early. The track was greasy and a little slower, and it come in and got faster. We were just lucky one car, you know, fell out of the beat and moved us from 6th row to front row, and that was the difference.
Watch them close through 3. Back towards 4. The back marker's starting to make a move.
The Saturday night Ron Laney Memorial pays $10,000 to win and lines up by points. The fastest car of the week, the 88 of Sport Allen, will lead every lap with fellow front row starter Terry McCarl slipping to third behind Shane Stewart at the finish. Traveling south through the Sunshine State, we visit the legendary Thunder Cross Speedway, one of the nation's southernmost dirt tracks. It's February 7th. The micro sprints take to the third mile of heavy clay during a 3-night series. Some are locals, but most have made the trip from the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware circuits. The track setup reminds us of the old Fredericksburg, PA Stadium. Quoting the Thunder Cross announcer, Please be patient, folks. Time trials are very important to make sure the fastest drivers start up front. The fastest cars up front is what Speed Week is all about, end quote. Apparently, passing is the enemy mentality has reached all the way to Alligator Alley. The inside berm will also play havoc with one of the local street stops. The Florida Limited Sprints are full-sized, carbureted 305s. There's 14 of them in the Thundercross pits for the Friday night Speed Week show. Clyde Poole gets over a tire. Despite the brace, Clyde will run his backup car later tonight. Apparently the race is an artistic success, as the pole sitter leads every lap. Saturday night we visit our friends at Volusia, where 34 all-star registered sprinters take to the big half mile. Finally, one for our guys, as Lance DeWeese leads every lap off the front row. Lance's 19th All-Star win is worth $4,000. Jason Johnson and Craig Delansky followed the 77 across the finish. February 10th. Wing sprints on asphalt is a rarity, but there's 26 of them tonight at Big Bank Scary Fast, New Smyrna Speedway. The Tampa Bay Area Racing Association apparently does not understand what Speed Week's all about. No time trials plus points handicapping would force the fans to tolerate 2 passes for the lead. Kevin Feeney from Michigan, driving the yellow 98, takes first from Florida's Scott Adema on the 4th lap. Lap 15, Keith Butler in the gray 19 from Riverview, Florida, makes the winning pass. Keith began the 25-lapper in 10th starting spot. February 12th, 42 sprinters open the 4-night East Bay All-Star Series. Chad Kemena, 15, and Craig Delansky, number 7, lead off the front row. Midway through the feature, Jason Johnson gets firmly stuffed, sending his car into the catch fence and end for end down the front stretch. The Cajun sensation will be back tomorrow. Up front, Minnesota's Delansky rearranges the front row with this winning pass of Kemena. Joey Saldana finished 3rd.
They do a heck of a job here at East Bay. I'd like to thank everybody that puts this show on. They do a great job with everything they do. Racetrack, the way they take care of the teams, drivers. I'd just like to thank everybody that puts it on and makes it all happen.
Hi, welcome to beautiful East Bay Raceway for the second day of the All-Star Winter Nationals.
The All-Stars have the most racy of the time trial formats, inverting 6 in the feature. Also, miss the cut in your heat and you start way back. This makes the heats much more than just glorified warm-up sessions. Just ask Kelly Kinzer. Feature time. The PA posse holds 3 of the top 4 starting spots, but they soon get humbling treatment by the 24 of Terry McCarl, who leaves Greg Hudden at 12 before wrestling the lead away from the 88 of Fred Raymer. Notice the 20 of Danny Lazowski running 4th. Great racing continues as Lasowski in white and orange, who started 5th, takes first on the 19th lap among lap traffic in the 25-lap, 4,000 to win, double pass for the lead feature.
Well, definitely did good here tonight. You guys were catching lap traffic there. Did you know that when you got to lap traffic, you might have something for McCarl?
Well, Terry was running a really good pace, and I knew if he ever got held up, we might have a shot. But he was running a good race, and sometimes it's better to be second than.
Welcome to East Bay Raceway for night 3 of the All-Star Sprint Car Winter Nationals. Enjoy the races.
Friday night heat. PA provides the action as Fred Raymer holds it down, and Ed Lynch does not. The Apollo Rocket was the only racer to leave his mark in the boards all month here at East Bay. The feature is a battle of the front row as the pinkish 92 of Upper Cove, Maryland's Jeff Shepard cleans off Jason Johnson on the 15th lap. Paul McMahon finishes 3rd. We Pennsylvanians will always consider the mouth from Maryland one of our own.
We had a little harder tire on the right rear than I think most of them guys did, and it took a couple laps to get it going. And Jason got a real good jump on the start there, and he was doing a hell of a job in traffic. But once I found that top on that restart, I knew he was going to go low because that's just what you're supposed to do. And I went around him on the outside, and it was all she wrote.
Saturday of the East Bay finale. Still bent from a crash last year, Jack Hewitt gives a talk of faith and inspiration during a Vespers service. Two major stories tonight. First, the track was the fastest it was all month, and the winged cars rarely passed. Pole sitter Greg Hodnett in the Apple 12 led every circuit despite being trapped behind the lap number 5 for 13 of the 50 laps. The second story surfaced an hour after the feature, when the announcement circulated that the number 12 was disqualified for having a left rear wheel that was 2 inches too wide. Danny Lasowski was declared the winner over Chad Kemena and Fred Raymer. Tonight's winner's check is $15,000, but Greg has yet to be told the terrible news. Back home, the micros are off this year at Motorama, but we still find interesting things. The folks from Shellhammer Speedway fume up the room that farm show patrons know as the cow wash. An afternoon here increases our respect for the Carters, true racers to the core. March 15th, Lincoln breaks the ice with 40 sprinters pit side.
Ace and Knopf down the backstretch. Chris Ace will have the lead into 3 and 4. Knopf steals it off turn number 4 and leads lap number 1, and we got problems on the front stretch. Todd Hester.
Cameras on the flag stand show Todd Hester's ride begins after contact with Fred Raymer on the still frozen beneath track surface. The top 12 from heats draw for the first starting spots. Chris Knopf, number 6, needs only to hang tough in the narrow groove for his first ever sprint car win. Shawn Michael, number 1, tries hard, but there's no grip upstairs past turn 1. Greg Hodnett finished 3rd. Running his own team this year, Delta PA's 33-year-old Knopf will have little trouble spending the $3,000.
Let me tell you this, we couldn't get it started today. We worked our ass off. We got here, Davey Brown came and helped us, and we didn't get it started after the warm-ups because it was messed up, because this is great.
There was never a doubt in my mind. Now, you had a little advantage starting up front today. Starting position was important.
It definitely was, but with Chris East beside you, the Zimco car, Shawn Michael behind you, they didn't give me nothing. I had to earn this one, bottom line.
March 22nd. Out of many tracks scheduled today, only the one in the Pigeon Hills drops the green. When the river rises, or the creek does frizz, Lincoln's still where the races is. The 33:58 sprints include Sealands Grove regulars Justin Zimmerman, number 7, and the 12 of Blaine Heimbach, who argue over Lincoln property rights in turn 1. Feature time. Asper's Billy Dietrich, number 8, leads after drawing the front row.
Billy Dietrich will be your race leader.
2 red flags marred the feature. Scott Osherman suffered temporary confusion after running over a spinning car. Randy Rhodes can't quite clear a tangle and does a wild flip. No doubt Small Block Weaver, driving the white number 7, will soon enjoy his first feature win. But tonight he gives up second after a race-long battle to the 4 of Eric Stambaugh. After several wins in 2001, Billy D went winless last year. Tonight is his second opening night Lincoln 358 win.
You know, you get an advantage starting up front, but once again, this is night racing now, and a lot of good cars here.
Oh, no doubt. You know, track was drier than normal. Usually I thought it would be super heavy with all the rain, but, you know, we just tweaked on her, and, hey, here we are, man. This is great. It's about time.
I know you got a real good team you pulled together to keep this thing going. I know Dad's a part of this whole thing, and for you, hey, another win here at Lincoln 2 now.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep this going. I want to win this points thing at the end of the year. You know, first time I ever won, Dad crashed twice in one night, and he crashed twice tonight, so I guess it was about time.
The 410s actually outdrew the 358s tonight with 35. One reason is Brian Leppo. The Spring Grove youngster graduated from Micros to become last year's Lincoln 358 Rookie of the Year before taking on Central Pennsylvania's marquee competition this season. Brian will be forced to watch the feature tonight.
Looking to go into chalk line. Turn is out.
Lance DeWeese, 77, drew the front row alongside Jason Hagenbuck. But Todd Schaefer in the white 88, back full tilt from a serious leg injury last year, makes a race of it, briefly at least, before DeWeese dominated. Fred Raymer settled for third.
Schaefer and DeWeese hangs on to the lead down the backstretch. Dale Blaney third. Fourth is Mackerson. Sixth is Smith. Hagenbuck sixth.
Well, you have to take advantage of those good starting spots like that, because in about a week or so, there's no way we're going to be starting up there. And yeah, the racetrack was a little tricky tonight. I don't know what anybody else was like. We were okay. We were better than what we were last week here. This is a different race car than what we ran, so we're still tuning it some. But yeah, we keep working hard at it.
Williams Grove opens April 23rd with 32 sprinters. During warm-ups, Mark Smith suffered an attraction to an inside tire barrier. Mark eventually got it together to qualify, as will Jason Hagenbuck. On the final lap of the Consi, Kevin Fry attempts to squeeze in between Mark Smith and that inside turn 3 tire barrier. Greg Libby will also watch the feature today. And here goes. Ever-improving Doug S., number 30, leads over fellow front row starter Chris H., number 17. Doug led for 14 laps, but lap traffic will be his undoing here. 37-year-old Chris from Hanover picks up the $3,000 win over DeWeese and Todd Schaefer. Dougie wound up a disappointing 21st after blowing a tire in the 24th of the 25-lapper. It's H's second opening day Grove win, the first having come back in 1987.
How's it feel?
It feels great. You know, these daytime races are tough and it's usually hard to pass. And, you know, I was really thankful I got that, front row starting spot. Had a lot to do with us winning today.
What was going through your mind when you saw Doug Esch go to the outside with the lap car?
Well, I knew if I would just stay with him that sooner or later he was going to get a little impatient and try to slip around the outside of a car, and that's what he did, and he missed a rubber, and I got by him.
The Super Sportsman presented a 20-lap invitational feature, drawing for all starting spots. Frankie Herr, number 3, comes from 19th to run down Shermansdale's Bobby Howard, number 49.
Right on the leader's bumper, ducks to the low side, going for the lead, he's got it. Frankie Herr into the lead. Frankie Herr slowing on the front stretch, smoking badly.
So the finish is a happy Howard over Steve Wilbur and Paul Miller.
We were talking before the night, and I've been coming here racing since 1987. And I said this would be the greatest thing to take one of them checker flags home. You know, I've been watching people win, and I want a checker flag really bad. And I grew up at Williams Grove. I love this place. I build my own car. Everybody that helps me gives me 100%. And I can't thank anybody enough. I mean, this is the greatest thing in the world.
March 28th, the rain-beleaguered early season finds Selinsgrove opening with a Friday night 410 show that drew 30 cars and a nice crowd despite occasional drizzle. Newville's Mark Smith is now in the driver's seat of the beautiful blue and white Keen number 53. No tire barrier problems for past Super Sportsman superstar Mark tonight, who leads after drawing a front row starting spot. But he will have a problem with the Apple 12 of Greg Hodneck, who has been getting around Selinsgrove like no one else in recent 410 history. Greg, who started 12th, takes first on the 7th lap among lapped cars. As the 25-lapper winds down, Mark's 53 begins to catch back up with the leader, who now appears to be the one struggling in lap traffic, before winding up on the rail. The win is worth $2,500 and comes over Todd Schaefer and Lance DeWeese. It's Mark's third sprint car victory, adding to wins at Port Royal and Williams Grove.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome him back to victory lane here at Selinsgrove Speedway. This time in a 410 sprint car, Mark Smith. Woo! Mark, congratulations. An excellent run out there tonight. This thing was hooked up.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I think we were just as good as Greg, but he got through traffic a lot better. And I hated to see that happen to him there. I'll tell you, I mean, this is awesome. Second race in this car. Gives Sean first win and as a car owner. It's awesome.
Silver Spring. Charlie Sora catches the season's first rollover during a practice session. The opening night April 5th feature winner will be Carlisle's Frankie Herr, number 3, shown here completing the winning pass of Bill Schofstall midway through. The defending champ went on to lead Bob Fantasy and Pat Cannon across the finish. Schofstall wound up 5th in the frozen spring 25-lapper. Upriver, 33 358 sprints, Marquis Selinsgrove's big half-mile, along with a very popular $8 admission. After several false starts, officials ordered the front pair of 410 veterans Darren Aish and Cliff Bryan to restart back 1 row. Leader Chad Layton smoked an engine early, leaving Darren's number 22 and Adrian Schaefer number 21 in a race-long first-place duel. Hymesville, Maryland's Aish came home first, despite bumping the inside rail. Nate Snyder netted 3rd.
Anytime we're not racing Lincoln, we'll be here. It just makes it so hard for me getting home at 3 and 4 in the morning. You know, everybody's, you know, it just makes a late night. And, you know, I love the track. I wish I could move this racetrack down there where I could race down there and didn't have to drive so far. But the fans are great here, the people that run the track, you know. That flag deal, that was my fault. You know, I'm so used to starting 12th or 15th or 24th and having to come back up. I didn't know I was doing something wrong. But I showed them anyway.
We complete our coverage of a good Saturday night for the brothers Aish down at Lincoln. A hard hit as Michael Markey spins in front of Jeff Busby. 31 cars are in the pits. Port Royal's season is still on hold, but Lincoln Green spins just as well, and Keith Kaufman in the Middlesworth number 7 goes for it. But 7th place starter Chris Aish will keep the lion's share in town, driving the Advanced Settlement Agency number 17. Win-hungry fast Freddie Raymer, 88, moves into 2nd and actually leads briefly among lap traffic. But Chris finds a sweet spot on the inside of the backstretch, becoming the first 2-time winner of the Young Central PA season. Raymer finished 2nd with Lance DeWeese 3rd. Kaufman wound up 5th. It is the soldier on the battlefield, not the campus organizer, that makes the anti-war protest possible. Cars opens its season at Big Diamond on April 6th with 23 358 sprints pit side. Dale Hammaker in his number 66 takes first from the 12 of Matt Beasley in the 800 to win feature event. Drama back in the pack as Jamie Schwartz contacts another car and flips in turn 3. Dale gets a late race challenge from 358 terror Chad Layton in the 46, but the 37-year-old Hammer from Grantville is not BSing around on the short half mile. Adrian Schaefer finished 3rd. There's no Barbara Streisand in victory lane either.
I knew Chad was coming, but before we get into that, I want to thank all the men and women that are over there fighting for us. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here racing. So all them people who are against the war, they should go straight to hell.
April 12th, when the track surface failed to take rubber, the Port Royal opener was threatened by dust. But the feature did go on. Front row starter Lance DeWeese, 77, led every lap over the 23-car field, although Greg Hodnett's late challenge made a race of it. Brooke Weibly 3rd. Down the road were the fact that Lincoln regulars swept 4 of the top 5 spots earlier today at Port Royal, while no Port regulars showed up to race in the Pigeon Hills, did not go unnoticed by Lincoln partisans. Keith Anderson graduated this year to the 410s out of the Bridgeport, New Jersey limited sprints. Brian Lepo, 71, leads over Jim Siegel. With 35 racers pit side, young 358 graduates will dominate. Jerry Parrish after contact with Jeff Rohrbach. Early season winners Lance DeWeese and Chris Knopp get close. Kevin Drury, 31, is now 2nd and putting pressure on Lepo. Bobby Weaver crashes the inside rail. In the shuffle, Brooke Weibly launches over Shawn Michael. With 1 lap in on the restart, leader Lepo bobbles off turn 4. New Berlinville's Drury makes the inside winning pass. Chris Aish will finish 2nd, Siegel 3rd, with Lepo fading to 13th at the finish.
I'll tell you what, I spent some time over the winter talking to the family. I know you guys were excited about this season, but hey, what a start for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like our 15th or 16th race in a 410, and basically when you win that soon, it's pretty much just luck, but, you know, we started up front, so we'll take it.
Marylander Mike Bittinger drives the number 12 and is among 27 358 sprints that'll round out extreme sports tonight at Lincoln. Front row starter and micro graduate Jeff Young's hopes for an early career 358 feature win in the 22 self-destruct in turn 3 of lap 3.
And he's going to collect some race cars, and that'll bring out a red flag.
Traffic continues to thin as Bittinger will need a tow. Dallastown's Corey Haas 11 shows why he's the defending champ, coming from 9th place starting spot to take first from Randy Rhodes on the 7th of the 20 laps. Billy Dietrich finished second over Chad Trout, a tangle dropping Rhodes to a 15th place finish. Up at Selinsgrove, the 358 sprints are having trouble slowing down. Both Jeff Weaver and Greg Latowski take hard spills after the checkered and heat race competition. Joe Whitcomb lost a wheel before going over and out. The April 12th feature is wired by Craig Eschenauer. That's Rick Hench, number 1, and Nate Snyder on their way to podium finishes behind the number 5. Craig's last Selinsgrove win was in a 4:10 back in 1996. April 13th, Path Valley rain dates the Sunday afternoon. Ron Taggart is the first to run up our flip count. 28 600cc micro sprints are the first up of 3 open cockpit classes today. Cody Emmentrout gets over Jimmy Brookins. Hard hits on the front stretch leave J.C. Walling upside down. Terry Peters was declared national champ recently down at Thunder Cross, Florida. And they might be right, as his number 19 makes the winning pass of Lyle Stroman, number 91, on lap 7. Dwayne Harbaugh and Stroman follow the Tower City resident across the finish. 45 270 micros are in action on the sun-baked quarter mile. Tom Tice is very much out of shape. Jonestown's Mike Boyer leads all 20 feature laps. Mike Dicely and Sean Good followed the 41 across the finish. The local full-size 305 cubic inch sprint cars race once a week, alternating between Heston and here at Path Valley. The racing comes with all the frills, including spills. Jim Wentz was just warming up. Brian Lynn takes a spin. Ted Thomas rodeos. Ryan's brother Todd Lynn, 23, dominates the 305 season opener, leading every lap after drawing the front row. Chris Maleeson finished second with Todd Spangler third. Here's Todd, who hails from Hollidaysburg, with his arms full of joy and future racers after another of his many wins. Friday, April 18th, we're right back at Path Valley as the rains part at Spring Run. 40 270 micros marquee the quickly run show. For the second time in 5 days, Tom Tice catches a tire and flips in turn 4. The green 44 of Edder's Mike Dicely takes just 4 laps to complete his winning charge from 7th place starting spot, taking first from Matt Miller, number 29. Mike, whose hyper racing shop is nationally known in the small car race world, was followed across the line by Steve Buckwalter, Dave Sox, and Miller. April 19th, Lincoln. Timmy Long, a second-generation hard charger from Lebanon, is among the 37-car 358 field. Enough with the statues. Let's get rolling, which is exactly what Tim does in turn 3. Similar problems ruined Big Block Weaver's night.
Dan Fleming runs in third. The battle for fourth. The 7B is Sean Weaver hard into the wall.
Chad Trout gets a plate the right way. East Berlin's Eric Stamball makes the winning pass on the 10th of the 20-lap feature. Mike Bittinger, number 12, always fast a week after flipping, will have to settle for second, ahead of last year's champ, Corey Haas. How's it going, Eric?
Yeah, things are going pretty good. I'm kind of wiped out. I think I need a Red Bull energy drink. I was working hard. My car was just a touch tight, which is pretty fast normally, but coming off of 4 there, I kept climbing the cushion, and it was getting kind of hairy. Then I think a couple of lappers didn't know I was coming around, and they, sweep up going down the straightaway, and instead of diving to the bottom, I just stuck to my guns and let it fly.
29 410 sprints line the pits. Kevin Drury spends much of last week's first place money. Much improved Craig Smith, now driving a team car to Brooke Wibley, gives up the lead to the Niederer number 10 of Lincoln favorite Nicky Young on the third lap. Nicky will lead through the race's latter stages despite pressure from the 17 of Supercharged for this year, Chris Aish.
3 laps to go. You can throw a blanket across your top 3. They're side by side. Hodnett goes to work on Esch. Hodnett to the bottom. Esch to the top. Nicky Young, your leader. 2 laps to go. Nicky Young tries to get between the slower cars. Chris Esch to the top. He slides him out.
Despite an additional hit from Chris Knopp, Aish would make repairs during the lap 23 red and restart on the rear. Greg Hodnett, number 12, who had already restarted on the rear after a tangle on the initial start, has come back to second. And with yours truly elsewhere tonight, it's Bill Meyer calling the 2 most exciting laps in Lincoln history.
Nicky Young gets to set the pace. Off of turn 4. On the hammer, green waves. Greg Hodnett slides up in front. Nicky Young tries to fight back. Hodnett to the top. Young to the bottom. White flag, Nicky Young. Still your leader. Nicky Young. Greg Hodnett. Nicky Young on the bottom. Nicky Young to the bottom of the block. Your winner, Nicky Young.
Lance DeWeese settled for third.
That was a hell of a race, buddy.
Well, I tell you what, that race brought back memories from another night 2 years ago, and Greg Hodnett's my idol. He's a great help to me, and I just can't believe it. I thought this day would never come.
Tell you what, those last 3 laps, I mean, you were running good out in front. You got into lap traffic. It got tight down here in 1 and 2. Can you explain what happened down there?
I really don't remember. All I remember is Hodnett passed me before that red came out, and I don't know if I would have been able to get him back in all that traffic. That red was a blessing to us to get me out in, out away from traffic and where I could run clean laps and keep up my momentum. So this is awesome.
Go Daddy, go Daddy.
Go Daddy.
Here's the whole Young family after one of the most popular wins ever. April 20th, 29 410 sprinters are at Williams Grove for the second Sunday night rain date in a row. Todd Schaefer from Millerstown, driving Beam-owned number 88, takes first from Mike Erdley on the third lap. 2 red flags marred the 25-lapper. Chad Layton blamed himself for the first one. Mark Smith will blame Shawn Michael. Lance DeWeese again will finish third as Bruce Ellis calls the final lap first-place duel between the 88s driven by the leading Mr. Excitement and Fast Freddie Raymer in yellow.
White flag is out for Todd Schaefer. Last lap. Last chance for Raymer. He drives alongside Schaefer in 1 and 2. Side by side down the backstretch. Schaefer pulls ahead. Schaefer to the low side, 3 and 4. Raymer chases him down. Coming off 4, checkered flag in sight. Todd Schaefer will win it. Raymer is second, DeWeese third.
We drew the right position tonight. We weren't dead on car-wise, but when you see the 88 and the 77, that was the worst 2 I wanted to see on the board. But we made her. She's 25 laps, and I want to thank my crew, my sponsors. We picked up McCoy Brothers this year, a new sponsor. I want to thank them for all the help. Hoosier Tires, Penske Shocks, Top Flight Wings, and Donat Engines. Thanks a lot.
You look a lot happier than the night they were wheeling you out of here after that backstretch crash, and there was some consternation, some soul searching. Do I need to come back and do this again? We're glad you did, and I guess right now you're glad you made that decision as well.
Yeah, I'm glad too, and I want to thank the fans again for everything they did when I was hurt, and it's great to be back.
Todd Schaefer, ladies and gentlemen.
The Super Sportsman brought 35 carbureted self-starting racers to their first tour race of the season. When now Mechanicsburg resident Pat Cannon drew the pole, astute observers only hope against a flag-to-flag win would be a from mid-pack charge by the number 3 of Frankie Herr. A turn 4 spin triggers a double flip involving Paul Troutman, number 16, and Rodney Adams. Herr comes up 1 position short with Richie Hartman claiming third. It's Pat's 3rd career Grove win.
you knew that number 3 was coming, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was watching the scoreboard. I mean, I got real lucky pulling number 1 tonight, and you kind of almost you just try to hit your marks every time when you start up front, as best you can do. And we started to get a little loose, so we weren't driving as hard as we were in the beginning of the feature. I was hoping they could come out on the red and help me with that. I figured it was going to go that way, but yeah, I was watching that board and I saw 3 was coming. I knew I had to keep my pace or he was going to get us.
April 26th, 53 super sportsmen are at Silver Spring. Shoemakersville's Richie Hartman, last year's Rookie of the Year, has failed to qualify for a Silver Spring feature all season. The past micro sprinter uses a front row starting spot to turn his season around with a win over Ken Carberry and Dwayne Smith. Over at Port Royal, 23 unmuffled 410 sprints are led by 37-year-old Mark Coldren, I-07. Mark is from Mechanicsburg and is popular with fans for spinning donuts in Lincoln traffic, but he finds his traction tonight around the big half mile, holding off the 0 of Rick Lafferty for his first feature win. Len Thompson finished 3rd.
Well, I tell you what, you got the first one under your belt. Now you can go back and try to do it again.
I'd love it. I'll tell you what, this is the greatest feeling I've ever had. This is awesome. I love this place. When I went around collecting money for Todd Schaefer, I went through the stands and the fans said, hey, you're exciting. And I took that as we were on the edge of out of control. So the fans I want to thank for making us come up here because they're really behind the racers and I like it up here. So we're here for the keep.
April 27th. Williams Grove again rain dated to Sunday, but the show actually got started Friday, unfortunately for Gary Gullum, who gets spooked by a lap car into Corey Haas before suffering multiple injuries and this flip. The 54-year-old veteran was in considerable grief while trapped in the car, but our unsung heroes, the safety crews, had the cage cut and Gary resting comfortably on a stretcher in just moments. Gary was life-flighted to begin a remarkable recovery. '37 358 sprints return Sunday. The feature begins with a double flip. It's Kyle Perks and Dan Richcrete.
Trouble in turn 4. 2 cars turning over, bringing out a red flag.
Kevin Nagy, number 45, leads Billy Johns, number 2.
Billy Johns makes a bid on the backstretch. Draws alongside the leader at the bridge. Billy Johns has taken the lead in turn number 3. 13 down on Billy Johns.
Soon after giving up the lead, Nagy loses about 20 more positions. Looking for his first feature win, Johns now has 10th place starter Harrisburg's Chad Layton knocking on his rear bumper. Corey Haas will finish 3rd.
Here comes Layton on the outside at turn number 4. White flag flying, Chad Layton right there. Layton tries the middle this time. Johns on the low side. Billy Johns pulls away on the backstretch. Layton will take one more shot. Here he comes. Layton on the outside. Checkered flag in sight. Who's it going to be? The race to the line. Johns and Layton. Chad Layton at the line.
But when you actually got to the line, could you see that you had him, that you actually nipped him at the line?
Yeah, I actually did. I seen there I had him. You know, when you're sitting there right beside someone eye to eye with them, you know, you can usually tell whether you're an inch in front or an inch behind them. So, you know, my hat's off to Billy. They've been doing this for a long time, and, you know, they're really picking up the pace. And, you know, this 358 division, you can't count any of them out. They're really all hitting hard. So I'm just glad to be standing here.
With 29 pit side, the 410s will also feature a winner from the 5th row. First, Shawn Michael in the number 1 takes first from fast improving Jason Hagenbuck on the 5th lap. But with just a couple of laps to go, Lance DeWeese, number 77, completes a winning charge. Greg Hodnett finished a close 3rd. It's Smooth Lance's 212th career sprint car win. The All-Star sanctioned Early Bird Championship May 2nd at Williams Grove paid $6,000 to win and drew a powerhouse field of 38. But it all goes a bit flat on time trial format as Lance DeWeese, 77, who won from 10th here 5 nights ago, starts on the pole. A surprise on the start as All-Star regular Chad Kemena gets the jump, leading a lap and a half before DeWeese pulled ahead, dominating 28 of the 30 laps. Greg Hodnett finished second, Jeff Shepard third. Kemena dropped out with mechanical gremlins. The recently enlarged Trailway Speedway finally gets its Friday night season started, featuring the full-size 358 sprint cars weekly for the first time. A field of 22 stir up some dust on the third mile. We also have some parts bending. Brian Eichelberger flips. And now Nathan Hammaker has nowhere to go. Nate is an impressive rookie and the son of Cars champ Dale Hammaker. The win goes to Scott Osherman, number 39, over Kyle Perks and Billy Dietrich. May 7th, All-Star sanctioned Lincoln draws a strong field of 35 for $5,000 to win. Time trials set up a wire-to-wire, but hey, it's Allentown fireman Shawn Michael in the Zemco number 1 getting his first win of the season.
Shawn Michael's going to lead him into 1 and 2. Shepard even higher. Here comes Hodnett and problems for the 77.
Lance DeWeese was running second. Chris Knopp makes it a red. The restart. Greg Hodnett will settle for second, with Jeff Shepard again first among invaders, finishing third.
To the top side. Races for first and fourth. Ace into fourth. Michael holds off Hodnett.
Yeah, you know, starting up front meant a lot. We finished second in this race the past 2 years, and Lance won it. And so I think we're due to win this thing. Actually, we were probably due to win any race. But, hey, I just got to thank John and Pee-wee for sticking with me. Jerry Regal, everybody that bashes me, thanks. I'm still in the race car, and go home and whine. That's all I can say.
Over at Silver Spring, Kevin Nagy is among 23 358 sprints as Cars makes a visit to the 3/8 mile. Reading's Dave Gable, number 1, leads the 25-lap feature. Dale Hammaker is victimized into a rollover. Kevin Nagy was the hardest charger before it catches up to him in turn 4. Gable's strongest challenges came mid-race from Rusty Presley, number 5, before Rusty faded to 4th near the end. Billy Dietrich and consistent Corey Haas will follow Gable across the finish.
I gotta tell you, it ain't the car. It's this group of guys I put together to work on it. We had Dave Marshall come on board tonight, and he was working with me last year with the URC team, and he just allows me to go out and race with such confidence in the car that I know it's going to be good, and he's a great asset to the team. Robbie, my Uncle Oz, my father, Aaron, my whole family, the support they give me, I can't ask for any more.
The Super Sportsman count hits 60 tonight at the Spring. John Wolf is out for the night. And now John's father, Jerry, can spend some quality pit time with his son. Mike Finley makes a rookie mistake. It's going to be a late night here at the Spring. Joe Renneker is one more thrill for flagman Randy Eichelberger. Feature time. The 71 of Glenn Keller leads over Wild Bill Brown, 00. Wild Bill Heckert loses a tire, and we have another red. Keller leads a three-way battle for second between Brown, Paul Miller in the yellow 58, and Steve Cannon, number 23. Lap 16, and a bad break for our leader, who slows to the pits. The race for first. Great side-by-side racing under wings at the legendary Silver Spring Speedway. The top three went on to finish under the proverbial blanket, with Street Maryland's Bill Brown scoring his second career win over Miller and 13th place starter Cannon.
Well, Bill Brown, nobody gave you that race. That's what you call earning a race, right?
That's right. Nobody gave me anything. Paul was on the bottom all night, and he was fast, and we had that caution come out, and I was worried he was going to get me on the bottom, but he had a fast car, and I think ours might have been just a little faster. But good job to him. He did a great job, raced me good and clean, and it was a good job.
You look like you could be just a mite tired after all of that, and I'd say that that would be legitimate after that deal.
Yes. Yeah, had a good cushion on the track, and as long as I kept it straight, I knew it was going to be faster up top, so it all worked out.
May 5th, ARDC is flying without wings at Grandview. Ed Steinley is okay after a bell ringer. Mark Daly also manages to smile away a real slobber knocker. With a full field of midgets plus on hand, Chris Mowry tags the wall while leading the first 8 feature laps. But it's Bloomsburg's Ray Bull driving the 22, a team car to Daly, charging from mid-pack to make a clean sweep of the 2 ARDC features held so far this season. Scott Lawrence finished second, Don Trent third, with Mowry slipping to 7th.
Well, I tell you what, I love coming to Grandview. You know, the midgets was a big deal here many years ago, and you know, it's just a perfect size midget track, sprint track, modifieds, whatever. This is a great place, and they really had it in good shape tonight.
The 3,000 to win ESS URC Challenge produced a field of 52 360 sprints. A time trial-free format allowed the entire 2-division Sunday night show to be over by 9:45. A big break for working fans. Jason Collette is a minor flip victim. Midge Miller, number 8, loses the feature lead to the number 4 of Pete Green. An important save for Dan Kazabinski. Now our leader, Pete Green, pulls in with motor problems. Miller is back in front, but here comes New York's 29-year-old Kazabinski in the Elmer Stoltzfus 00. The winning pass comes on the 25th of the 30 laps. Mike Hagenbottom will eventually finish second, followed by Trevor Lewis and Miller.
First of all, how did this come about, this ride, getting you here in this car tonight? Last Monday night, I believe, Elmer gave me a call. He talked to Jerry Cox at Jericho Competition Engines, and I guess he recommended me for the ride, and I hope I lived up to his billing. Well, obviously, you're a regular with the ESS Tour. Do you drive your own car on that circuit? Yeah, we have our own car. We've run with them since '96, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do just yet, so we got to do some talking. I got to make a decision here. Hey, let's ask Elmer and see what he thinks. All right, Elmer, what do you think? Congratulations.
I think it was a good win, but you know my regular driver's on the injured list, very severely injured. This is for Gary Gollop, a great champion.
May 4th, 25 big blocks are at Selinsgrove. Weight rules may not have solved qualifying beadlock issues.
Get ready for thunder and lightning here at Selinsgrove Speedway. The Jan Opperman Memorial is underway. The green flag is out.
A classic time trial classic starts favorite Greg Hodnett, number 12, on the front row. The Red Rocket avoided a flipping Todd Hester while leading all 30 laps over fellow front row starter Chad Layton. Lance DeWeese finished third.
Greg, congratulations on winning the Jan Opperman Memorial.
Yeah, it means a lot to our team. We've been pretty close. We haven't, besides the win we had in Florida that was taken away, We haven't won any races yet, so we're pretty fortunate to be here tonight, and thankful to Apple Chevrolet, Apple dealerships, Carsby Dealers Magazine, Kelly, Apple GM Parts, everybody that helps us out, because it's been a pretty, I would say, frustrating first part of the season.
The well-run Sunday night show includes 26 super sportsmen. Dillsburg's Rich Eichelberger, number 8, gets his first win of the year, but not until after working hard to get past the 77 of front row starter Russ Mitten on the 16th lap.
And now Callum enjoys the battle, the pressure on the leader.
That's the number 19 of recent Silver Spring winner Dave Kalaman following Rich past Mitten. 4 laps later, the finish would read Big Rich, followed by Kalaman, Frankie Herr, and Mitten.
No, we've been working it here for a lot of years to try and get one. This is one of the few tracks we didn't win at with a sportsman car, and we're really glad that you have us up here. We love racing Sunday nights. It's the best thing to do rather than sitting around waiting for Monday to come.
I'll tell you what, a good race out there tonight, Rich. You had to get by Russ Mitten.
Russ was going good, and I really got worried. We got our temperature was up at about 260 at halfway, and it was starting to cool down a little bit, and we got a break and went up on the top, and we did what we had to do. I got to thank Richard Raybold and Matt Stover, the guys on the crew. They're working really hard this year, and especially I want to thank my wife Nancy for working together with us. She's the greatest. I couldn't do without her.
Terry Peters gets over a tire as the 600cc micro sprints zip around Path Valley. Chad Criswell hits the wall while running third. The May 9th feature is the second consecutive win here in the Valley for Johnstown's Jimmy Young, who completes a winning charge from 7th starting spot with this pass of David Sox on the 16th lap. May 10th, Silver Spring. 54 super sportsmen will take to a rain-soaked surface. Wild Bill Heckert is upset for the second week in a row. Steve Smith and Charlie Sorakach are also among a record 11 super sportsman flip victims tonight at the Spring. Some great racing interrupted the crashes. Scott Dellinger, number 30, takes first from rookie Rich Barr, number 55, on lap 19, as 13th place starter Bob Fantasy, number 1, watches closely. Three laps to go. 45-year-old Dauphinite Fantasy makes the first place pass for his 26th career spring win. Dellinger and Richie Hartman followed Fantasy, with Barr slipping to 14th. Lincoln, May 10th. Scott Grace, who has a super sportsman win on his resume, has been dabbling in the 410 sprint cars. You could say Scott finished last tonight among the field of 28, finding the wall in warm-ups before visiting the hospital with a back injury. More adventure in turn 1. Pancho Lawler gives the okay. Feature time. Chappie Kanak in the Orange 51 leads on the start. As Raymer, Aish, and other top dogs work their way from mid-pack, a full 1/4 of the starting field would lead during the 25-lappers' 7 lead changes. Kevin Drury, number 31, is taking his turn in front. The new rules eliminating wicker bills as part of the wings has loosened the racers up, making it harder for top-funded teams to hook up $35,000 motors and dominate. Just ask frustrated and winless Fast Freddie Raymer. Doug Esch's number 30's lead will be very short. Doug saves the car, but pays a high price in track position. The flash of blue was the number 10 of Nicky Young, moving toward the front. As Chris Ace, number 17, drops Doug Esch to 5th, Young becomes our 4th different leader. Nicky Young led for 8 laps until the 14th circuit, when Chris Ace gets by downstairs. The last lap. 10th place starter Lance DeWeese's number 77's lead may be even shorter than Doug Esch's, but boy does he make it count. Young held on for 3rd. .38 358 sprinters are in the Pigeon Hills. Hopefully Claire Wintermeyer, who's been looking fast recently, enjoys his work. He'll have plenty more after climbing Billy Heltzel. The restart. Heltzel's tire just went flat, and the number 28 is a launch ramp again, this time for Mike Bittinger. The start of the Consi. Kirby Seitz gets into Timmy Long, and we need all available wreckers in turn 1. Nobody has entertained Central PA fans over the last 2 decades more than the driver of number 8, Dan Dietrich. Always hammered down in the thick, usually upstairs. Daring Dan could have easily retired after near-fatal head injury several years ago, but the man is a racer. In recent years, Dan has settled into the more affordable 358s as a top contender. This is what it's all about as Dan and Eric Stamball star in more sprint car racing at its best on the racy Lincoln Clay.
Continues to hold on. Stamball to the top side. Dietrich will slide up in front.
3 to go. 12th place starter Stamball's second win of the season will come over Corey Haas and Dietrich.
Wheel to wheel into 3 and 4, and we have a new leader, Eric Stamball.
Hi, this is Jen Weaver, Miss Motorsports 2002. Welcome to Lincoln Speedway for the 51st anniversary race. I hope you enjoyed tonight's action.
It's May 14th. 26 sprinters go for 51 laps. Mark Smith leads from the front row. Time trial started Greg Hudd at number 12 third, and with no lap money involved, the expected pass happens on lap 25. Fast Freddie Raymer 88 does make a race of it momentarily after a late race restart, but the Red Rocket pulled away for the $5,100 win over Raymer and Smith.
I'm sure you know Fred was there. He did actually get credited with leading lap 38, but you came back. What was going through your mind?
Well, probably getting fired.
May 17th. Mike Enders takes his place among 31 358 sprints at Selinsgrove. Mike is first to jump a tricky turn 1 cushion and will not qualify. A close call on the backstretch. Cliff Bryan gets crowded on the feature start. Joe Whitcomb has his front end clipped, and the red is out for another early Sunday morning spill. John Wagner, number 54, led 8 laps until Davey Franick, a 16-year-old micro graduate from Lafayette, New Jersey, makes the winning pass. The rest wasn't easy for the high school sophomore. Nate Snyder in black kept looking for a bobble, not to mention Chad Layton, himself finished third. But it's Dave No Panic Franick talking to Steve Inch.
You had some tough competitors behind you. I know Nate Snyder, he's been trying real hard for his first career win. He was following you through the traffic, and of course you had the U1 behind you too, you know Chad.
Yeah, there's so many fast cars out here that, today in Central PA, it's unbelievable.
So how is it making the transition to this full-size race car? You've done a heck of a job, a couple of top 5s.
Yeah, we got a couple good guys helping us. Guy Howie, his brother Al Howie, my dad, Josh Adamski, Brian Howie. We got a lot of good guys helping us and figuring it out. But to micro, to sprint car, I don't know, it's a little bit of a difference horsepower-wise, but otherwise with the handle, it's pretty good.
The United Racing Club makes its first visit to Selinsgrove in 5 years, bringing 34 360 sprinters. Several drivers raced both classes. Respective defending champs Chad Layton 00 and Bill Bryan crash in turn 1. Tonight's the first time we've seen Judy Bates all year. Her white racer crashes to a smoky stop upside down on the inside of the backstretch during a heat race. Judy was born one of the racing Buckwalders and was a micro sprint superstar. Her decade in full-size cars has been hampered by crashes, some of her own doing, but many not. Feature time. Scott Purcell opens a healthy lead. Trouble in turn 1. Mike Kostick, number 40, and Jeff Wary flip as several cars pile in, including the number 1 of our leader. Soon after the restart, Matt Gerber gets turned over as wing manufacturers enjoy a good night. West Lawn's Dave Ely, number 3, makes it 2 straight in URC over Brian Seidel and Dave McGuff.
Yeah, we're in real good shape. That was our second win there. We were fortunate again, just the way the draw worked out. We ended up starting third. So when you start up front like that, you got to take advantage of them, and that's what we did.
Season's still young. Any goals for this year?
You win every race. You just come to win and do what you can. Try to kick their ass.
Over at Lincoln, 40 358s include veteran Judge Shepard and rookie Jeff Young. Some super glue to turn one for Mike Cragen. Randy Nyman has a problem clearing Darrell Becker. The hard one for Judge Shepard. Dan Dietrich, number 8, leads another Lincoln Classic under pressure from the 69 of impressive Randy Rhodes. But watch the silver number 4 of Eric Stamball. Daring Dan pushes toward the turn 3 wall on lap 16, and it's Stamball taking the lead. Scott Osherman eventually finished second, Sean Weaver third, followed by Rhodes and Dietrich. While Stamball is taking the checker, Jeff Young takes this shortcut to the parking lot. It's Eric's third win in a row, and that's almost unheard of in Lincoln 358 competition. Lancaster's Doug Esch in the Leeds number 30 becomes winner number 8 in the 10 Lincoln 410 features run this season, with this 17th lap pass of another future star, Jeff Busby, number 47. Lance DeWeese would also slip past Busby to finish second in the 20-car field. Dougie talks about up-and-coming drivers in victory lane.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, you watch the 358. Those guys are good racers. I mean, they race just like we do, just in a little bit smaller car, but they go through the same motions we do, and they're good. They're good, talented drivers. I mean, I'd like to see Eric Stamball getting a 410 and Corey and them guys move up and be like old times and back at Lanco in the micros.
May 13th, the unbridled power of the World of Outlaws. Offer the legendary dirt track gypsies, and most any track will be packed with fans paying premium ticket prices. A record 5,000 plus here at Delaware International. Promoters open the gates on a Tuesday at noon, allowing hundreds of fans 6 hours to admire the rigs and buy t-shirts. Hold out for all 12 million, Ted, and hold on for your life, Shawn Michael. 10 outlaw teams are joined by enough Central PA and URC sprinters for a full field. The Woo has never needed to present particularly racy features. Tonight, Dash winners Steve Kinzer and Joey Saldana, 17, started on the front row before finishing 1-2. But when Saldana got the jump on the Quaker State 11, it did set up the lone pass for the lead in our 3-race rain-beleaguered outlaw swing. Greg Hodnett finished third. Steve gets an invitation to come back and see Delaware's street stock stars.
Come back Saturday night and see Storm and Northern Shore. Woo!
May 18th. After 3 rainouts, the sun and the Outlaws shine at Grandview. One beat-up old sprint car driver, Gary Gullub, talking here to Grandview boss Bruce Rogers, never looked better. Here's a pair, Hosehead and the Wild Man. The 35-car field is in no small part thanks to the Zemco team. The feature pays $800 to start. There's no junk in the pits, as they say, although Dave Hahn's car will have a few scrapped parts. The single division show will be over by 10:15. Steve Kinzer, 11, starts on the pole and leads every lap. Danny Lazowski in the Tony Stewart number 20 touched the wall on his way to a second-place finish. The best show was Tyler Walker, number 35, advancing from 10th to as high as 3rd, using the high groove before finishing 4th behind Kinzer, Lazowski, and Tim Schaefer.
I'll tell you, lap traffic was becoming a major factor for a good portion of the race.
Well, they go out to the top, and it was good for a few laps, and I got loose up there, and I went to the bottom, and then I seen a car too, and then it got quicker on the bottom, and I didn't want to get off of it after that, so I just stayed right down there and followed everybody else.
Hagerstown makes up their Woo rainout on Monday night with a nice field of 33. Kinzer starts on the front row and leads every lap, but this time it's Mark. The first win in over a year for the number 5 resulted in a straightaway lead over Greg Hodnett and Donnie Schatz.
Talk a little bit about what it means to get this first win of the season and get the monkey off your back.
Well, it's been over years, so it's nice, you know. The car worked good all night. We could work lap traffic pretty good to our advantage, and I knew somebody had to be coming up on me fairly soon, but when you're running good like that, I guess he didn't make it.
Brooke Webley's youthful appearance belies a 25-year career on the circuit. The consistent York Springs racer's resume includes the usual hard knocks, along with feature wins at Lincoln, Williams Grove, Selinsgrove, and Bedford.
Welcome to Lincoln Speedway for tonight's Sprint Car Championship.
May 24th, driving the Rebels Construction number 32, Brooke is just a couple of laps from a $3,000 win. Brooke has never struck us as particularly lucky. Chris A, 17, holds off the 77 of Lance DeWeese for his third Lincoln win of the season. Nicky Young finished third. Brooke restarted to finish 18th.
I'd like to say this one's for my dad. He's in the hospital right now, sick, and we're praying for him, and hopefully he gets better. And tonight's my wife's birthday, so I'd like to say happy birthday to her.
As Amy Ace enjoys her 19th birthday, Dave Ace would continue a recovery from his serious stomach ailment. May 25th, 26 358 sprints are at Trailway. Tonight is the first time we've gotten to see Aaron Long, number 58, and we like his style. The 09 of Brandon Grandstaff leads most of the feature from the front row. With 3 laps to go, we're racing in the rain. Dale Hammaker, 66, appears to be making a winning pass, but the yellow is out, the pass is recalled, and the race called complete, with Grandstaff enjoying his first sprint car win over the Hammer and Judge Shepard.
My mom and dad are footing the whole bill. I mean, I'm from Virginia, and nobody down there even knows what a sprint car is, and all they want to sponsor is stock cars. So I can't find any sponsors whatsoever down there. The ones I had got rid of me to go asphalt racing. So, I mean, unless I find somebody up here or somebody down south that actually knows what a sprint car is, I'll get a sponsor one day. If anybody's looking to sponsor a car, I need sponsorship bad.
On Memorial Day, Port Royal offers a dual sprint car show, including a full field of cars sprinters. Dave Gable and Cliff Bryan went at it during a heat race you'd thought paid $1 million to win. The final turn leaves the number 1 perched on the rail before Dave offered Cliff the numero uno. The replay girls make an appearance as we have an inside look at the incident. Cliff will eventually finish 6th in the feature, with Dave 10th. Mike Ressler has problems with the inside rail. Another win for Chad Layton, this time driving the number 46, usually campaigned by his pop Jim. Chad took first from Dan Dietrich, number 8, who held on for second, with Corey Haas coming in third. 410s raise a little dust under the partly sunny port sky today. Kurt Strout gets over a tire. Nephew to Rod Strout, rookie Kurt is okay and a little wiser. Point leader Mike Wagner, 55, is the first feature leader. As the field makes short work of a long straightaway, Dustin Hoffman can be seen taking a hard spill after something broke. Memphis, Tennessee's Greg Hodnett in the Apple 12 is getting his act together for the season, taking the lead on the 10th lap and winning with ease over Wagner and Lance DeWeese. May 30th brings the United Racing Club to proud America's coal cracker country and the Big Diamond Raceway. 33 360 sprinters fight to qualify for the $1,600 to win feature. Danny Massey slams into a tangled Junior Martin who takes a flip. Neither would return after the heat race crash. Doug Emery gets over a front end during the feature. Brian Seidel gets squeezed into the rail in the confusion and does a real endo. 25-year-old Dave Ely, number 3, scores his 3rd win out of the 8 URC features run so far this season. Ely took the lead from Mike Hagenbottom, who drives the green number 5 that Dave raced last year, on the 13th lap. Hagenbottom held on to 2nd with Bill Bryan 3rd. Over at Williams Grove, we have a good hair day going on in the pits, along with 30 sprint cars. Keith Anderson's having a bad hair day in turn 1 during warm-ups. On a heat race restart, Bob Beitelman saves it after a major wheelie. Mike Eardley can't save it after tossing a right rear wheel. 410 rookie, just up from the 358's Adrian Schaefer, is in the Pete Postupak number 25. Taking first from the 17 of last year's Rookie of the Year, Jason Hagenbuck. Schaefer continues to lead as the race winds down despite pressure from veteran Chris Ace. Perhaps thanks to his higher groove around lap traffic, the spectacled spectacular has his first big block win over Ace and Fred Raymer.
What's it like to go from 358 to one of these cars? What's the difference as far as driving is concerned?
Well, they'll make you feel like a jerk in a hurry. You know, there's great racers in 358, but there's a reason why we were in 358s and these guys were 410 racers, you know. These guys are top-notch, all-quality drivers, you know, and we've been struggling here the last couple weeks, and we got a new car and a new motor, and I guess tonight we made it worthwhile.
Well, you had to know it was Chris Ace there alongside you. I mean, you had to know somebody was there and how close they were. How close was it from your seat?
Closer than I wanted to see, but I wasn't looking. He'd have to come get me.
33 super sportsmen are Grove side tonight. Rich Eichelberger and Todd Gracie get turned over in this heat race tangle.
Trouble in turn 2.
In the replay, we see Ryan Rupp getting turned sideways. Apparently, Big Rich does not. Feature time. Frankie Herr, number 3, is fastest again, taking first from Dwayne Smith on the 9th of the 20-lap feature.
Frankie's coming after him on the backstretch. We've got a new leader. Frankie Herr takes the lead on the backstretch.
Well, with a mile to go, look closely and you'll see a frustrated Frankie in trouble. A problem even our announcer has missed. The final lap restart finds Enola's Paul Troutman first over Smith and Pat Cannon.
Troutman protects the bottom. Cannon goes to the top around Smith. Pat Cannon is second. Cannon coming after the leader in turn number 4. Checker flag in sight, side by side, racing to the line. Troutman will win it. Cannon second, Smith is third.
A wing dance in victory lane.
We started sportsman racing in '86, and it's the first. I thought winning at the Springs was like the hardest thing, but the prestige of winning at Williams Grove. It's not a 410, but it's against the competitions all the same in the class we're in.
And it's still the Grove.
It's still the Grove. You know, everybody has heard of the Grove.
And we can see the happiness in your crew. I mean, I can't imagine how it feels to win a race here. What were you thinking tonight when Frankie got by you? Were you thinking this is as close as I'm ever going to get?
Oh, no. When Frankie's usually class of the field, and it was his race. There's no doubt about that. And I saw the yellow come out, and I just saw dust flying up there. I thought, well, who spun out there? It's like they're trying to get going again. And I backed and was like, oh, shit, it's Frankie. I'm in the lead.
June 1st, 49 250cc micros find their way to Trailway. Jeremy Mondock will get right back into the fray. Littitz's Keith Woodson, number 2, takes the lead from Nick Gower and goes on to stay ahead of Mike Dicely for his 3rd Trailway win of the rain-beleaguered season. The 600cc micros get off to an eat-em-up start. Sean Seifert, number 1, takes first on his way to victory over Dusty Highstand and Dwayne Harbaugh. Here's Sean along with Marcy, who we remember as Miss Port Royal in the late 80s. June 5th, 30 410 sprints make a Thursday appearance at Williams Grove. Doug Yash gets loose and takes one of the Grove's all-time hits, Cranium, first. Okay, if you insist, Doug. Doug may be a racing hardhead, but that doesn't mean he has no sense of humor. A second look includes a flipping Mike Erdley landing on Todd Hester. Doug is making it a point to walk away, but he's concentrating a little. He and the Leech 30 will be back in a week. The restart and a close call for Lenny Thompson. Second-generation racer and rookie sensation 16-year-old Lucas Wolf led the first 3 laps. But here comes the 7 of Keith Kaufman.
Kaufman to the outside of Wolf on lap 3. The teenager and the veteran going at it for the lead. Kaufman to the outside around the 5W. Kaufman off the cushion. Wolf won't give up. They're side by side on the bridge. Kaufman and Wolf going at it. Kaufman pulls ahead in turn number 4. He's got the lead. Wolf slides
on lap 6, Jason Hagenbuck flipped as leader Keith Kaufman pitted with problems. Fast Freddie Raymer from Salfordville has come from 11th starting spot to 2nd.
Raymer has not won anywhere this season. He would like to get the first tonight. Todd Schaefer looks good behind him. Lance is 5th. Green now. Raymer to the outside of Wolf. Wolf side by side down the back stretch they go. Wolf and Raymer battle hard into 3. Raymer to the cushion and the lead.
Raymer's 53rd career Grove win comes over Chris Aish and Todd Schaefer, with Wolf holding on for a fine 6th-place finish.
It's good to get this one out of the way, I'll tell you. Joe and everybody and all our sponsors, Mower Brothers and Material Handlings, and everybody that helps us out. Donnie gave us a new engine tonight, and it really ran well, and we got brakes all night. We were not going to make the transfer in the heat, and just my turn, I guess, tonight. So we were lucky. Glad to finally win one. Hopefully the next one will come a little easier.
Friday night, we're right back at the Grove for feature action, as Jason Hagenbuck, 17, will lead at least the first lap over Mark Smith, 53.
Jason Hagenbuck will lead lap number 1. Mark Smith all over the leader as they charge hard into turn number 3. Smith to the outside. He's got the hammer down all over Hagenbuck as they charge up the front stretch. Mark Smith slides in front of Hagenbuck, catches the cushion as they race side by side down the backstretch. Hagenbuck and Smith hard into turn number 3. Mark on the outside, above the cushion into the lead. Mark Smith will lead lap number 2.
Mark is really moving. Watch the lap car of Adrian Schaefer. More problems for Lenny Thompson. Six laps to go. Greg Hodnett in the Red Apple 12 arrives on the scene here.
Hodnett slides under Mark Smith to take the lead at turn number 4. Smith drives back by him. Hodnett again ducks low, again slides in front of Smith. Mark drives by on the backstretch. Hodnett again slides up in front of Smith off turn number 4. They race side by side to the line. Smith will lead lap 25, laps remaining. Hodnett again slides under Smith. Again, Smith drives back by. Greg Hodnett again makes the slider into 4. Here comes Smith on the low side. Hodnett maintains the lead on lap 21. Smith ducks low. Hodnett through the middle takes the lead off to Greg Hodnett, sets the pace down the backstretch.
A 1 lap to go restart is called for after Pete Green pole vaults the rail and Mike Miller suffers a collapsed front end at the same spot.
Hodnett through the middle off turn number number 4. He'll win it. Shawn Michael will beat Smith to the line for second.
In the 3:58 sprints, Craig Eschenauer, number 5, leads with less than 2 laps to go among lap traffic over Corey Haas, 11.
Haas has taken second, and here he comes after the leader. Haas and Eschenauer battle hard into turn number 3. Eschenauer on the outside, Haas down low. Who's it going to be off for at the white flag? Craig Eschenauer, your leader. Last lap on the field. Eschenauer around the outside, Haas down low. Lap car in between them. Craig Eschenauer will lead into 3. Here comes Corey on the low side. Eschenauer up top, Haas down low. Corey Haas has taken the lead off turn number 4, and Corey Haas will win it. Crimes gets second. Eschenauer limps across the line.
First win in Williams Grove, how does it feel?
It feels pretty good. You know, we've been close here a couple of times, came from the back a lot, finished second, third, you know. It certainly feels good to win one. I've been waiting for this, you know, ever since I was a little kid.
Silver Spring. Over 50 super sportsmen take part in the 16th annual Will Kreitzer Memorial, postponed by rain to Sunday night, June 8th. Dennis Wiley is okay. Darrell Dissinger and Brian Rhodes get the worst of this qualifying crash. Feature time. Bob Gutschall, number 9, leads the field. Working on lap 3, J.R. Fry gets over a tire, and John Stoner has nowhere to go. Soon after the restart, leader Gutschall loses speed in front of the pack. A good save by the 71 of Aaron Gorell. As the field rounds the east end, we see it's a left rear flat tire on Gutschall's car. Evasive maneuvers continue until Steve Wilbur winds up on top of Smokey Snellbaker. Another red flag as Steve Cannon is out of here. With only 9 cars finishing, it's Carmen Perigo, number 2 from Stoystown, taking first from the 14 of Chris Reed. Ken Carberry moved up to finish second, with Reed hanging on for third.
This is a good win. It's the first one of the year and a big one, $2,000. Yeah, I guess the third time I won this one, and every time that I won this race, I ended up winning the points that year, so I don't know what this is going to say.
The whole family in victory lane after a long night. June 10th, 29 sprint cars make their annual appearance at the Big Half-Mile Bedford Fairgrounds, home to weekly Friday night late model competition. The field includes Middleburg's Todd Hester, Mifflintown's Kyle Gnu, and Thomasville's Josh Wells. Here, Wells on the outside loses out to Chad Layton and Jason Johnson. Todd Hester headed for the pits in front of Kyle Gnu. Andy Warhol might call this art. Greg Hodnett, 12, leads the feature after starting on the pole. Josh Wells gets turned over after contact with Randy Bachman and the wall. Hodnett's predictable win comes over Jason Johnson and Lance DeWeese. June 13th. The 31-car 410 field at Williams Grove for Twin 20s tonight includes Stewartstown's Chris Webb and Maryland's Jerry Parrish. On the start of the Concy, Jerry's number 21 heads straight for the rail before collecting Webb in a front stretch slobber knocker. Feature time. Legendary points handicapped Williams Grove competition, the world's best sprint car racing. The proof is in the passing. Watch Mark Smith, 53, as he skillfully demonstrates what it's all about, taking first on lap 1. The high groove takes Mark past Jason Hagenbuck, Mike Erdley, and Bill Schofstall. After a red for Rick Lafferty, 11th place starter Greg Hodnett, number 12, has caught Smith, and here we go again.
14 down on Smith, Hodnett to the outside of Smith, and to the lead momentarily. Smith takes it back. Clark got a new leader.
The finish. Hodnett over Smith with Mike Eardley third. A draw inverts only 6 for the second 20. Jason Hagenbuck, 17, leads the start. Still on the first lap, one wonders if starting near the front has Hodnett confused. The man from Mifflintown, Keith Kaufman, in the Middlesworth 7, takes first on lap 9 for his first Grove win of the season over Chris Ace, Chris Knopp, and Hagenbuck.
You looked as good on that cushion as you have ever looked. Car had to feel pretty good up there tonight.
When the car feels good, you can really run it hard. And I don't know, we got too tight or something the first race, but I don't even know where we run, but it was too tight. But talked about it, changed around a little bit, and then, boy, I can really run her then the next time, so it felt pretty good.
Gave yourself a birthday present, a little bit belated, but you had a birthday last week, and a feature win at 53, not too bad.
Not too bad for an old guy.
June 14th, Selinsgrove. Jen Yinger has a smile that could melt glaciers and a figure that could put fireproof Nomex on the Victoria's Secret runway. But what really makes her late father, sportsman ace John Yinger, proud is her heavy right foot. Here, her tumbling dice number 13 goes tit for tat with Dwayne Mosteller. 59 cars pack the muddy pits for the Cars AOAS Challenge. A draw put Billy Dietrich and his number 8 on the front row, and the big guy makes the most of it. Billy's win over Kramer Williamson and Blaine Heimbach is worth over $2,000. Down at Lincoln, a long evening begins with a flip by micro graduate Nick Gower. 28 410's pit side.
Problems up in turn number 1.
7th place starter Doug Ash, 30, takes the feature lead from Glendon Forsyth. On lap 9, a typical chain reaction crash began on the backstretch. As cars ricocheted off each other and the rails, one took an unusual inside bounce, clearing the barriers and landing on an occupied pickup truck. 18-year-old Bobby Putney, nephew to track preparer Fred Putney, was life-flighted with critical injuries. Lincoln racers, fans, and management have become a family, and the fact that the situation was as blameless as a racing accident can be did little to ease the shock. Thousands of prayers will help Bobby survive. Hopefully, we can give you a positive report on Bobby's condition later in the tape as he remains in a coma 2 weeks after the mishap. Doug Ash goes on to hold off mid-race challenges by Chris Ace, 17. And the same late race, courtesy of Lance DeWeese. Bobby Weaver finished third, with Chris dropping to the pits.
In a somber note, I feel bad for what happened, you know, with Fred's, if he was nephew or something like that. And I wish him all the best, and my heart goes out to him because I know how tough that is. We were good, you know, sitting over there waiting just about half kills you, but we were good, and just can't say enough for the team. We had a bad crash last Friday night, actually a pretty good one. Same car, didn't even hurt it at all, but I mean, I knew we were pretty good. We got a good break on the start when, you know, we restarted third. That definitely goes in your way and in your favor. And, you know, our sponsors and Bankowitz Countertops and DMI and Leach Brothers, I tell you, couldn't do it without them.
35 United Racing Club sprinters make their annual Lincoln appearance, which is highlighted by a 20th to 1st winning charge by Lance DeWeese. A small block Hamilton 77 takes first from the 99 of Trevor Lewis on the 23rd of 25 laps. Jason Claus finished third with Bill Bryan fourth. It's Lance's third time as number 1 on the URC Victory Lane podium. June 21st, 33 358 sprinters are at Selinsgrove. 53-year-old Jim Layton, number 46, leads the feature over Davey Franick. A tangle in turn 1 leaves invader Corey Haas on his side. The most aggressive driver tonight is Kevin Nagy, 45, but by a narrow margin over Bob Beitelman, 81. A better Saturday night here at Selinsgrove is just ahead for Beitelman. And now here goes Nagy. A better Saturday night is just ahead for Nagy as well. The number 45 somehow found its way to a record distance from the racing surface, according to the third turn fireman. On the track, Layton Sr. hangs on for the win over Franick and John Miller.
Jim, you led wire to wire tonight, started on the outside of the front row. Great job out there tonight. You have to feel pretty good about this.
Sure do. Maybe it was this driving suit. I brought out a new one tonight before I retire. I think this is my last season. I'm glad to win a feature, especially here.
Well, it's nice to see you get a win, Jim. I know. How long have you been trying now?
I've been racing, dabbling with this since Chad started 5-6 years ago, and basically racing here.
Tragedy overshadowed the racing tonight at Selinsgrove when the sprinter driven by 35-year-old Joe Whitcomb rolled over in first lap heat race traffic. In a scenario that only grace prevents from happening more often, the front end of another car found its way into the number 71's cockpit. The Millersburg resident passed away 2 days later. Gentleman Joe in the pits, Smoking Joe on the track. Whitcomb was the first driver fatality in Central PA sprint car since we lost Darrell Gone in 1988. An electrician by trade, Joe's racing career included 4 feature wins, 2 here at Selinsgrove and 1 at both Bridgeport and Williams Grove. A second-generation racer, Joe started racing go-karts at age 7. Here's a few moments to remember our friend in a good time as he talks with Bruce Ellis after his win at Williams Grove.
Welcome back to Victory Lane, Joe Whitcomb. Joe, before we forget, we've got a checker flag for you from Bulls of New Chester. You become the 7th different winner in as many races for the 358s at Williams Grove this year. Just how competitive is this division?
Oh, it's really tough. You get a lot of cars, and all the fastest cars always show up here at the Grove. It's just really tough. Finally, we got to start. We were having trouble in the heat races running good. Finally, we had a good finish in the heat, enough to get the invert. And the rain, I'd like to see the rain come down. I said, this is nice for me. Hopefully, it'll stop and they'll run it in, and the track won't be too slick. And I guess it happened.
Joe, you look like you were faster from the time you rolled it off the trailer tonight. You look really good in your heat, and you certainly had them covered in the feature.
Yeah, it was good. We're still learning. As much as we ran, we're still learning, and we try a lot of different things. And sometimes we go out on the track, and you really don't know if the car's going to turn left, right, or whatever. But yeah, when the first start, when they had the red, the car felt really good. And I thought, oh darn, I got a good start. And then the red came out. I thought the next start would probably be bad, but hey, it was good all night, and finally we pulled one off. I want to thank my sponsors, and I want to thank my wife also. The first time I won a race, I didn't thank her, and I got in trouble. And she's my biggest supporter, so I want to thank my wife, Shelly, and my stepdaughter, Samantha.
I want to congratulate him once again, Joe Whitcomb.
Low-budget veteran Larry Shive is among 23 sprinters near Newberrytown as part of Susquehanna's short-lived Sunday night series. Greg Hodnett, number 12, starts the feature on the outside of the front row. Shivey ran with the best tonight during his heat race before hitting water left on the outside groove after an intermission wet down, ending his feature run on the first lap. Greg Hodnett leads every lap. Chris Aish and Lance DeWeese followed. The Red Rocket and the Apple Racer are getting their pictures taken a lot again this year. June 25th. After another rainout, Silver Spring resorts to Wednesday. Mark Zimmerman is among over 50 super sportsmen. Feature time, and Bobby Howard, 49, chugs off as the engineer. Side-by-side traffic, and a spin results in Frankie Herr on his side. Now Hot Shoes Pat Cannon and Carmen Perigo lock horns as approaching traffic juggles. Here comes Mark Zimmerman going end over end. J.R. Fry joins Howard at the front as the crowd stands for the final lap. It's Enola's Bobby Howard's first win here at the Spring in 11 years. Dave Berkheimer finished third.
Everybody got to go home, and like me before the race, I prayed, because I tell you, life's too short. You got that right. It is. I don't know how Putney's boys doing, but Joe Whitcomb was a racer. He was like I was. I don't win every week. I don't got all the money. Joe went every race and did the best of his ability, and I think that speaks so much of racing because of his desire that he wanted to race, and it's just a shame. Hopefully even me as a car builder, we can learn from it, like everybody else does, and maybe we can go further along, and just pray to God that it was a safe night tonight. That's good, and everybody have a safe ride home.
June 27th. Hazardous Williams Grove warm-ups for 35 358 sprinters will claim Scotty Osherman on the outside and then Jay Galloway way down on the inside. Frankie Herr made one lap of his heat race before steering failure, retires number 26 to the pits. After this Rusty Presley-Davy Frenick tangle, we'll see leader Jeremy Gardner, number 57J, trying to hold off Sean Weaver and Blaine Heimbach.
Corey Hawes also on the move. Corey up to 8. Heimbach working the low side on Weaver once again. Can't make the pass off turn number 4. Big block, ducks low, slides up in front of Jeremy Gardner. Can't hold the spot as Gardner drives back by. Now Weaver tries the outside, nearly gets into the guardrail, finds some bite and drives by Gardner. Sean, big block, Weaver, your race leader.
Points handicapping always makes for interesting features. By mid-race, favorite Chad Layton, U1 is a close second, and most of us are expecting the winning pass. But Sean is more than up to the challenge for now. Three laps to go. Number 11, Corey Hawes, is going to succeed where Layton failed. Corey's third Grove win comes over Layton, who finally wrangled second from Weaver on the final lap. 31 410s are at the Grove tonight. Adrian Schaefer loses his way at the start of the heat race, so the spectacled spectacular does what a real racer will. Gasses it. It doesn't work quite right, but there's little damage. Another points handicap classic. Rick Lafferty in the Black Zero, looking for his first feature win, leads most of the 25 laps. But here comes Freddie Raymer, 88, and Greg Hodnett, 12, from their mid-pack starting spots.
Lafferty up above the cushion. Raymer down low takes the lead on the backstretch. Fred Raymer into the lead. Lafferty tries to get it back. Lafferty ducks low. Raymer's on the outside. Hodnett coming through the middle. 3 wide off turn number 4. Raymer leads at Hodnett second. 2 laps left. 2 laps left. Raymer to the cushion. Hodnett down low. Tries to slide. Raymer can't, but drives by on the backstretch. Raymer won't concede anything. Powers back past Hodnett. Takes the bottom away in turn number 3. Hodnett now working the outside. White flag. Hodnett ducks low. Takes the lead from Raymer. Hodnett through the middle. Leads it off turn number 2.
It's Greg's third Grove win of the season. A somewhat disappointed Lafferty finished third. June 28th, 55 super sportsmen are at Silver Spring. Richie Hartman gets squeezed into the inside wall. J.R. Fry will also fail to qualify. Sprint car veteran Todd Gracie in the white 22 leads the Firecracker 40, but the black 41 of Jim Shuttlesworth has closed the gap, and now the pair of leaders are in lap traffic, which goes against Gracie as Big Jim makes the cool move of the race. Shuttlesworth is from Wellsville, and his 12th career Silver Spring Sportsman win is worth $2,000. Rich Eichelberger finished second with Pat Cannon third. Up at Selinsgrove, Scott Osherman and 30 other 358 sprints will carry on after a touching tribute remembering Joe Whitcomb. Over $4,000 will be collected for Joe's family. Early feature bumping leaves Osherman minus a front end for the second week in a row. T.J. Stutz, number 11, took first on lap 20 of the Selinsgrove Firecracker 40 and opened a lead until just 4 laps to go. The culprit is a flat tire. Back from his flip last week, Bob Beitelman in a freshly built number 81 picks up his first winner's paycheck in 5 years over Corey Hawes and Blaine Heimbach. Cars makes its second appearance of the year tonight over at Port Royal. A pit of just 17 will cause the sanctioning body to rescind its spec head limitation. Mike Ressler in the black 7 leads over Kevin Nagy, who just purchased a used Zemco racer. Adam Wilt in the wall. Nagy, who has several career wins in the Bridgeport Jasper Sprints, takes first on the 8th lap. Dale Hammaker and Billy Dietrich followed the Jerseyite across the finish. Ressler held on for 5th.
Well, I'll tell you what, it sounds like this Saturday night's a whole lot better luck than what you had last week. Tell us a little bit about that. I heard you took a wild one.
Yeah, I went and turned Selinsgrove and flipped out of the track and picked up this car from Zemco and them Tuesday and just worked on all week and put a lot of hours in, and it's we're worth it now.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to make you feel good. I understand this is your first career Cars 358 win.
Yeah, it feels good to win here, and I know this is a pretty nice, historic place and all, and you just got the car right, and it just was going good.
June 28th, a car owner's nightmare as Keith Kaufman flips after crashing into teammate Todd Hester. 41 big blocks pack the pits as Lincoln opens Pennsylvania's 13th annual Speed Week with the Kevin Gobrecht Memorial. Time trials line up all Speed Week features. Chris A. 17 can be seen leading on the start over Fred Raymer 88, Lance DeWeese 77, and Greg Hodnett. Hodnett would tangle out, but the other top 3 spots remain unchanged for the entire 30 laps. It's Chris's 6th career Speed Week win and his 4th win of the season here in the Pigeon Hills.
Well, the Gobrecht family's over here to greet you and get into victory lane photos. I know Kevin's one of the guys you had a lot of respect for.
Well, yeah, we kind of grew up racing together, and they're a great family, a nice bunch of people, and Donna and I were talking last week, and she said, well, maybe we can get lucky and you could win the race next week. And I guess God was probably looking down upon us and gave us some speed.
June 29th, Dave Courtier makes his first start of the year, part of a 32-car field as Speed Week continues at Grandview. A 4th turn push eventually caught up to the Shoemakersville resident, ending his evening early. Mark Smith, number 53, and Red Hot Rocket Greg Hodnett share the front row. We have a bit of a surprise. Smith gets the jump, leading 7 laps before Hodnett's inevitable domination. Fred Raymer finished 2nd, Shawn Michael 3rd, with Smith slipping to 8th. What the sprint car time trial lined up feature lacked in drama was more than made up for by the points handicapped ARDC midgets. But first, the ugly side of wingless racing. Mark Daly gets over Brian Succi, beginning this massive turn 1 flip. Mark was hospitalized with a concussion and bruised knee.
Look out, we've got a double flip in turn 1, and the catch fence throws them back to the speedway again. We've got trouble.
Ed Steinley, number 6, took the lead early, but is under pressure from the 18 of Donnie Trent as the quick 20 laps wind down. Ed holds on to first as both leaders get into lap traffic, literally. A late race yellow sets up what would be called a last lap winning pass by 12th place starter Ray Bull, number 22, from Bloomsburg.
Hey, we got a battle brewing up front. Out of the corner, Ray Bull now, throwing his hat into the ring, and Trent fights him off. Ray Bull loves ARDC racing here at Grandview. Whoa, we got one up high in the corner, costing several positions. That was Roselli with a 90-80, almost lost the handle. Did a great job to bring it back. Ray Bull now on the inside, going by Trent. Ray Bull on the inside now, trying to battle Steimling off the corner. Here they come. 2-lap signal. 2 laps to go. Battle for the lead. Side by side. Ray Bull with a power move in the back straightaway. Steimley right there. Here comes Trent. 3 cars under a blanket. White flag waves with 1 lap to go. Unbelievable action out here. Ray, look out. The 2nd and 3rd place cars tangle. They're still moving. but not for long. Yellow out.
On what should have been the final lap restart, Mike Roselli gets over a tire and the race is checkered due to the late hour. Seems an injustice that there's time to waste on time trials, but not to complete the actual feature racing for the fans. After 19 laps, the finish was scored Bull over Steinle and Trent. July 1st brings Speed Week and 32 cars to Big Diamond, where Greg Hodnett set fast time before drawing a 6-car inversion. It took 5 laps for the Apple 12 to run down pole sitter Chad Layton. Nicky Young, number 10, demonstrates that he is determined and also no longer is his own car owner. Hodnett's win is worth $4,000. Chad Layton held on to second, with Nicky Young plowing through for a third-place finish. We almost forgot to show you Kurt Straub's spill that occurred during the Consi. Billy Schofstall tagged an inside tire marker, and variance in checking up sent Kurt for his second rookie season endo. Hamburg's Keith Prutzman in the white and pink 28 has quite a history here at Big Diamond. Tonight will be his first Cars feature win anywhere, as he wrestles first from the 80 of Dan Rich Creek. TJ Stutz and Dale Hamaker will eventually follow Keith across the finish, with Rich Creek finishing 8th. Prutzman also has wins in the late models and super sportsmen here.
Well, I think you might have set a record here. 3 divisions, the feature wins in 3 divisions. You remember your late model days back here?
Yeah, when I used to get rocks thrown at me, I remember those days.
How many late model features you win? You have any idea?
No, I won 12 out of 14 up here that one year when I won the point championship.
Which was 1986, 88?
No, it was
82.
The last year they ran them here, 82.
I think 1982, yeah.
July 3rd. Good Speed Week car counts continue as 36 are at Susquehanna. Kurt Michael misses the groove in front of the large, sympathetic crowd. Still in time trials, Nicky Young's wing lets loose. The feature found Hodnett in the pits with problems, and Fred Raymer, 88, leading Donnie Kreitz and Doug Esch at the finish. Our winner is thinking about his buddy injured at Linda's Speedway last week.
I'll tell you, I got a friend in the hospital, Walter Sterling, and he's getting a little bit better, and hopefully everything will go good for him, because that's all that really matters. I'll tell you, it's great to win races, but you got a friend hurt or anybody you care for, you don't want to see that.
Susky promoter Vince Vicari was raised on modifieds and continues to make them at home here in sprint car country. Mike Nicholas spins in the feature start. Bob Ebersol is the first inevitable, and barrel rolls landing on Ben Hatton. Meanwhile, the last place car rounds out Nicholas's evening. Everyone is okay. Rick Lawback, number 16, makes the winning pass of Kyle Strickler on lap 5. 25 laps later, Rick led Dwayne Howard and Kenny Brightbill across the line, with Strickler winding up 11th. Williams Grove. The Friday night Mitch Smith Memorial pays 10 grand and draws 36 racers, including second-generation rookie racer Kyle Pruitt. No wonder Nicky Young likes to run the wingless shows. Kyle Pruitt nips a spinning car, and things get worse from there. Fred Raymer, 88, again takes first from the second row, with this pass of Donnie Kreitz in the blue 69 on the 6th lap. The Mark Cauldron Thrill Show brought out a red for fuel on lap 12. Soon after the restart, third-row starter Greg Hodnett, 12, cruised into first before opening a quarter-mile lead. Fast Freddie and Keith Kaufman followed the Red Rocket at the finish. It's Hodnett's second Mitch Smith Memorial Speed Week win in a row.
You look like your confidence is at an all-time high. I bet you wish the Outlaws were coming next week instead of the All-Stars.
Well, either way, I still have a little vendetta there, too. So,
yes, you do.
So I think we definitely need to take their money, me or anybody else here, as long as they don't get to keep it.
Tell them what happened, Greg. I'm sure not everybody realizes what you're talking about. Why do you have a vendetta with the All-Stars?
Well, it's not really with the All-Stars, maybe a couple guys that run with them. What happened, we were in Florida and we won that big race down there, and then we called before we left and they said there were no wheel width rules, and we got down there, run 7 days before that with the same wheels that we had. Didn't have anything else, and the last night, a couple guys that finished right behind us protested, and we were disqualified over a rules infraction that actually wasn't supposed to be a rule, according to those guys. But either way, I don't know, we just need to come out and win, or if we don't, somebody here needs to take their money anyway.